from Morgan Sindall, Ian Daniels from West Suffolk College. We've got Peter Whitmore from Morgan Sindall. We've got Ben also, Ben Coleman, and myself, I'm Phil Stittle, Exec Director for Business Development. The idea behind this webinar is to chat through the offer that we have at West Suffolk College on construction site supervision, looking at how we will support employers, looking what's value for learners and how actually things develop as a package under an apprenticeship programme. What I will do, I'll be asking some questions towards the end. We've got some pre-questions that have been asked already from different people, different employers. So we'll be coming to each panel member and then going back to the questions. So what I will do, I'll start by introducing Peter Whitmore from Morgan Sindall. Peter, if you could just talk us through Morgan Sindall and the involvement on your side, please.
Yeah, okay. Morning, Phil. Morning all. So as probably most of you know, Morgan Sindall are a PLC contractor covering the whole of the UK. I look after the Eastern region, which encompasses Norfolk, Suffolk, Essex and Cambridgeshire. And we have an office in each of those counties. So we've recently opened up a Chelmsford office, and one of the most important values that we have in our business is that talented people are the key to our success. It's great to have Ben on the call this morning, who is one of those people. We have a real focus on early careers, Phil, and we've worked with West Suffolk College for a number of years now in terms of putting people in the site supervision course in particular, MBQ, for apprenticeships. And we think this is a fantastic way of bringing new blood into the business. So fully supportive of the work that the college is doing, and looking for new candidates to join us next year as well. What else can I say about us, really? Do you want me to talk about how you apply at this stage, Phil, or should we? So we take on different numbers each year as a business. Clearly, at the moment, times are a little bit tougher. We're in a recession, unfortunately, and workload. As the construction industry, we tend to be a bit cyclical, so we follow the market a little bit. But this year, we've taken on 3 apprentices. Last year, we took on 6 apprentices. So we are absolutely committed to doing this every year. And next year will be the same. So in terms of that, we're already starting to look around for work experience placements and talk to you guys about who wants to look at courses for next year. And if people are interested, we have a group website, which is morgansindall.com, which is fairly easy to navigate. If that doesn't work, certainly they can come via you in the college and contact either myself or Helen Clements, who's our social value manager. That's a slightly more direct feed in. But looking to continue bringing, in particular, site supervision in from the county, but we offer so many other roles as well. So if people are interested in other roles, I probably haven't got time to explain them all today. We'd be delighted to talk.
That is brilliant. Thank you very much, Peter. That's fantastic. What I'll do, I'll pass over to Ian Daniels now, who's the manager for construction and engineering at the college, looking at the apprenticeship provision. Ian can talk a bit more about the offer. Actually ties in very nicely to what you mentioned about other roles that are available, so they match into other apprenticeships. Ian, over to you, please.
Yeah, thanks, Phil. So yeah, currently at the college we have around 300 or just over 300 construction apprentices of varying trades and sectors. Operating, we're currently open from level 2 up to level 4. So from that sort of GCSE level to that early stages of HE. We offer apprenticeships currently in carpentry and joinery, brickwork, painting and decorating, maintenance operations, plumbing and domestic heating and electrical installation, and of course level 4 construction. currently operating right across the eastern region. So we're down in Essex, up through obviously Suffolk, Norfolk. I've just crept into Lincolnshire and then across into Cambridgeshire as well, down as far as London, one or two as well. So certainly the footprint is growing there. All of the apprenticeships currently do come in for day release at the college. So with the construction site supervisor that we is a new apprenticeship standard. It's moved over from the old apprenticeship framework. So it gave us an opportunity to sort of look at the model that we were offering, and we've changed it slightly in that it is extended. So it's a 3-year apprenticeship, approximately 3-year apprenticeship. Obviously, that would depend on what the apprentice, the prior knowledge and experience and skills that that apprentice would be coming in with. But it's an opportunity, really. Then, sort of following on from that, it is an opportunity to either refine and accredit knowledge and experience of existing staff members, or obviously bringing in experienced apprentices to look at this level 4 apprenticeship. But around about 3 years, there is a mandated qualification, which is the level 4 HNC, construction in the built environment. But that is the only qualification in it now, and that's the big change from the framework, that the MVQ, the requirement to complete an MVQ at level 4, which was a really big qualification, that's been removed and replaced with an endpoint assessment. So that endpoint assessment, which would obviously occur after the HNC is complete, we complete the HNC in the first 2 years, and then we have that 3rd year, which is essentially geared towards preparation for that endpoint assessment. There's a project that's required for that endpoint assessment, so obviously it gives us time to get that done as well. There's also an online test and a professional discussion. So it is that's how you prove your competency, and which it's driving up standards. The clues in the name there, but it certainly brings a whole different set of skills and pressures that apprentices that would have been completing an MVQ wouldn't have necessarily encountered previously. But yes, it's one of our smaller courses. We're certainly looking to grow our provision. It's vital, I think, certainly to the region when we're out speaking to employers. Those sort of traditional sort of biblical or wet trades are pretty well covered across regional colleges and private training providers. So it's the level 4 site supervisor, that higher level apprenticeships, and progressing on, of course, to level 6 site management, where there's an apprenticeship available, not currently with us, but we're certainly looking at developing that. But it's certainly provisional. We're looking to grow.
Brilliant, thank you, Ian. Yeah, I think you're totally right there in terms of the progression options for individuals through companies, and step off points as well. So if the higher apprenticeship with the level 4 HNC is the ceiling as such, and people want to step off at that point, that's fantastic. They can also choose to progress after that onto the level 6 at a later date. But it's having that flexibility, or that provision available within the local area, and I think that's where there has been some struggles over the last few years. But it's good that we've got that on offer, and it's available to to local employers in this region, basically. No, thank you, Ian. I'll come back to you after with some questions. Ben, over to you now. If you could just talk us a bit more about your story, really, where you've come from, where you've gone to, and a bit more, because obviously you've attended and undertaken the course, so it's a bit more detail about that, if you may, Ben. Thank you very much.
No worries. So yeah, I used to go to West Suffolk College doing the extended diploma level 3 BTEC. I think the interest in construction has always been there, kind of always pushed to be a practical learner. And that's something that I liked with the course, and just the whole, when I got there, I knew it's something that I wanted to do. Where I was at GCSE levels and progressing through school. I went for an open day at West Suffolk College, and I was really happy with what they were offering and what they told me they would offer. A bit about the course, the in-depth. It was just more something that I wanted to do and knew I wanted to do rather than academic A-levels. What the course was actually like when I was there, so I was 16 at the time. It was so varied, and it shows the different aspects which I probably didn't know too much about. Showing the theories and methods of building, looking at roles and responsibilities of different professions in the industry, practical skills like CAD, surveying, something which I have continued in my career going forward. So using them skills with Morgan Sindall now, and even when I moved on, so I don't think there was opportunity at West Suffolk at the time. So I went on to do my part-time degree at Anglia Ruskin, and started the first 2 years there. Everything that I kind of learned at college in that level 3 really helped me in the first 2 years. It was a really good transition, and I think it gave a slight edge over people who have come from A levels. When I was at college itself, the facilities, were great. It was down at the Milburn Centre, so you're in with all the construction, so you're seeing them do more of the physical working, seeing what they're doing, but then with the management side and the construction built environment, we had our own separate space with CAD, all of them equipment, surveying equipment, very broad. With the 3 days a week as well, it really helped me to start getting my foot in the door and doing some work experience. And in the second year at college, they actually made it mandatory to do some work experience. So it was the push from the college that I think definitely helped my CV, getting some work experience when I went on to look for employment as well. So following the course, it was actually an event held by West Suffolk where I met 2 of my now colleagues from Morgan Sindall at a careers stand, telling me about the company. I remember there was loads of other companies there as well, but just what they told me and what it's being lived up to. Everything they said there, it's worked, and it's really, really helped me. And I work with them now every day, and like Pete said, talented people are key to success. And I walk around my office now, and most of the people went through the same thing that I did, the same route, and it is, very. That's the way that most people have come into the business as well.
Absolutely brilliant, Ben. And I think congratulations in order. You've been recently promoted, is that right?
Yes, yeah. So as part of our trainee development scheme, we do like 6 months in each different department to see and understand the whole role of the process. So see from the start of the building before we even get to site in one role, and then see it, take it to site. But yeah, recently been promoted to assistant site manager, and I've still got a year left on my degree. So yeah, really good.
I think, Ben, just say what you've been doing as a job for the last 6 months, because you're progressing really well, and I'm sure you undersell yourself. But just explain the role you've been doing, because I think that's interesting.
So for the last 6 months, I've been working on a primary school in Brentwood as an assistant site manager, but a trainee at the time. So we worked, and obviously probably through one of the most challenging periods in construction. Working with social distancing and COVID-19, and what kind of my role was assisting the site manager from day-to-day operations with the design, passing on to subcontractors, managing the health and safety, managing the quality. And I think the passion, even through the hard times, both show from me and my colleagues on that project, and the end goal was just really, really great. I think the county council were really happy with it, the quality, but it's just always that passion for getting it right.
So what Ben isn't saying is, so he's done a fantastic job on this school, and despite COVID, which was a massive disruption to the industry and the business, as you can imagine, they managed to hand their school over on time, and the customer was just over the moon, and the quality of the project that Ben and Jack have achieved. So quite a nice small primary school extension, but real responsibility with real pride at the end of it.
Definitely.
And it's been a fantastic job to track for Ben's development alone.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. Yeah, it sounds exactly that, Ben. So a massive well done, you know, for progressing through and achieving what you've done so far, and obviously a lot more to come. And I'm guessing that you, Peter, as well, you see that Ben's going to be a long stander within the company, and there's going to be some progression opportunities in the future.
Yeah,
as well.
definitely. He's a rising star. So we've got a slightly bigger project for him to have a go at, which starts in Harlow in November. But really pleasing to see the progression through the company. And I mean, I've been with the business. I started with them in 2004. So the trainees that we had in 2006 are now senior managers in the business. So it is a long journey.
That's wonderful to see, though, isn't it? Really good to see, and supporting them along the way. So absolutely brilliant. Fantastic. Thanks, gents. I'm going to come to a couple of questions now. I'm going to start with Ian, if I may. Ian, a question that's been presented is, when can I enrol a staff member on a course or on the apprenticeship?
Yeah, so we work with employers and supporting them with their recruitment and that sort of initial advice and guidance to come onto the course throughout the year. The HNC, which obviously is a mandated large part of the apprenticeship, that follows an academic year, so that starts in September. But the apprenticeship isn't necessarily pegged to start then. But you could work to that sort of period of the year that the apprenticeship would start in mid to late summer, and then run 3 years from there. But really, we could look to enrol an apprentice at any time of the year, because there's obviously a large piece of work that goes on in the workplace as well, which we can get on with at any time.
Perfect, thank you, Ian. And can employers that are, say, you know, levy paying employers, can they spend their levy on this apprenticeship?
Absolutely, yeah, 100%.
Fantastic. That's really, really good. Thank you, Ian. Peter, just coming to you now. So, do Morgan Sindall advertise vacancies for positions in site supervision? I think you touched on that, didn't you? And
yeah.
Do you need to be promoted from within, or is that anybody can apply?
No, absolutely anybody. So if anybody comes to you as a college and is looking for an employer to support them, that's definitely a route in. We do advertise. The advertisement runs on the website all the time. So it's morgansindall.com. It's fairly intuitive to work through it, and there's an apprentice application form there. So we do that plus, and then we do a lot of work experience around the schools to just promote the industry and careers generally, and we find that as a rich picking ground, picking up people with that level of interest in the industry firsthand.
Fantastic. And is there a set time of the year do you advertise? Because obviously, you know, within everybody trying to recruit,
it tends to be, I don't know what Ian thinks, but it tends to get busier sort of post-Christmas, I think, when people start focus on. So it's sort of January to March time is sort of traditional application zone. Then we interview sort of April, May, and then, you know, ready for results out and start the course September, October.
Perfect. Thank you, Peter. That's really, really good. And just a general question, how is, you know, construction in this region, and do you see that we need more skilled operatives? So, I mean, two questions there really. One is how is it going in construction land, and two, how is the skilled operative world? Do we need more?
So the industry is still very busy. It's, as I said to you earlier, we do tend to go up and down with the economy, but we're still very busy on site. And absolutely, to the second question, we've got a skill shortage in the industry. We have had for many years. So I know you do as a college, we do as an employer. We're all working really hard to engage with the school leavers that construction is a vibrant and dynamic career. Regardless of whether it's trade roles, which I know you do, or more management, which is what we're after. But we spend hours and hours in our schools just promoting the industry, and we need more people. So I was looking at a CITB report this morning. We're still looking for 4,000 people a year in the East to support the region. So that's a lot of people in my mind. So, you know, people sitting at home wondering what they should do, please take a look at construction. We've got a lot to offer.
Brilliant, thank you, Peter. I fully agree with that. Having works done on my house over the summer, actually, just to get you know, workmen in line, and their availability is just so stretched. So actually, there's you know, even from the one-man bands to higher employment, there is opportunity out there. So I think it's a great industry to get into, and you know, a lifetime of skilled trade. That's what it's all about.
Excellent.
Thank you, Ben. Coming to you now. So, just in terms of, you know, attending college and what you're studying, or what you have been studying, what do you think's the best thing you learned? What would you take away as the best point?
I think it's, you know, coming from college to the uni, it's just bringing them skills and everything I learned to my start of university. I couldn't pinpoint one thing. I think being an apprentice as well, I think the on-site experience is just as valuable as the academic. I think that's where, you know, but linking them two together, everything you've learned from a textbook, from lectures, and then seeing it on site, I don't think there's anything better than that.
Fantastic. Yeah, I totally agree. And as you said, the college is quite well set up in terms of the Melbourne Centre.
Yes.
We've also now got a park where we're looking at bringing in methods of construction, different methods, and allowing a space for site supervision. So again, I think it's going to be really great in this next year to see how that develops. In terms of construction, I mean, you mentioned about how you got into it. Would you recommend to other youngsters to come into the trade, and when would they need to start thinking about it?
Absolutely. I think it's just such a good industry to be in, the diversity from project to project. I mean, I've only been in it for 4 years, but different projects I've been on, I've seen so many different things. Although you might be like, oh, I've seen that before, but the context that you bring to another project is always completely different. I would always recommend it. I think working, like Peter said, with West Suffolk College, when I was at Red Lodge, the Pines Academy, and Pines Primary School, we had the college there and taking them around on uni tours or the tours of the building. I think I've even recommended a couple myself into the industry and brought them in myself. But just to get out, I think, as soon as you can and get some work experience, whether it's year 10, I think they start at schools, get out, have a look, and then keep it going. So I think the one thing they can never have too much of is work experience. When employers are looking on CVs, I'm sure that's something that Peter looks for. And yeah, just get out there, have some contacts, like you said, Helen, myself, Peter, anyone. Just if you said you're interested, we'll do every effort to get them out on site and try and show them what we do.
I think that's a really good point, Ben, just to start with some work experience, you know, for a couple of weeks and see if you like it. You know, it's that classic try before you commit.
Totally agree. I think that's a very valid point, and it's giving that exposure just to make sure that, you know, they're right for you, you're right for them. That's the key part. It works both ways. If you can find a job that you enjoy and you come to work and actually love and put some value into it, it's all the better, isn't it? So I think you're right. Get those options open early. I think that really backs into what this whole week is about. So National Construction Week. It's about, you know, exposing the industry nationally, saying what opportunities exist. We've done some fantastic work with primary schools, with secondary schools, and obviously we're supporting employers and that post-16 element as well. Something I'm designing as well with help of my colleagues is a junior program. We've run similar junior programs for 10 to 15-year-olds, and they're coming on Saturday mornings. It's an 8-week program, and we've done it in chefing, and we're launching hair and beauty in January, and also motor vehicle, where they're going to build a electronic go-kart, which sounds absolutely fantastic. So we're going to do a very similar thing for individuals in construction, looking at a dexterous sort of project, something that they can take away and showcase at the end. for example, in catering, they cook a meal at the end for their parents and their family, which is a great showcase. They deliver the food, and you know, they prepared it all. Absolutely brilliant for a 10, 11-year-old or 13-year-old doing that. Ian, I believe your daughter's done that as well, hasn't she? So
she has loved it, and food was excellent as well. Yeah.
I think that the key part and the key passion behind me designing these projects is that it just gives an insight to what it's like at college, but also what the industry is like, what they'll learn. So I think collectively as a industry, we can do a real good showcase for construction. But yeah, that's everything from me today. I'll just come to anybody else for any other questions. Ian, have you got anything further to add?
No, not really. I don't think. The one thing I perhaps didn't mention is that for the site supervisor or the level 4 apprenticeship, there would be some entry criteria that learners would be expected to have, possibly a level 3 like Ben did at the college, or possibly A levels. But yeah, no, other than that.
Perfect. Thank you, Ian. Ben, anything further from yourself?
No, nothing from me, I don't think.
Thank you very much. And Peter, anything further from you?
I've got one more, just because you've given me the opportunity. We're trying really hard to change the perception of the industry to be more inclusive and diverse. So just wanted to take the opportunity to say we're absolutely working really hard to encourage people of all ethnicities and get our diversity balance better. So in the last couple of years, 50% of our apprentices have been female, and the industry is changing all the time. So you know, this is not just a male conversation. The industry is for everybody. I think that's really important.
That is really great to hear, and I fully back that. And we've seen an increase within the college, and actually some real stars that have gone on to represent us in world skills. So actually, you know, very agree that we need to just open the sector up, get everybody in, and give everybody a sample of what it's like. But I really appreciate your time and your input. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Ian. And that will conclude the webinar for today. So I hope to see you all soon. If you've got any questions, please look at the website under apprenticeships or employer training. Come through to us. We're here and happy to help. Thanks, everybody.